All right, so I want to talk about sweep arpeggios here, not just sweep picking, and there's different ways to play arpeggios, but a lot of people don't even understand what an arpeggio actually is, and so I want to explain that and give a lot of tips on the technique, some kind of troubleshooting if you've got a problem. Maybe I'll address some common problems and ways that, to get around them. But what you need to understand is that an arpeggio is not just, like a crazy shred metal, like sweep picking thing. An arpeggio is the notes of a chord played separately. That's all it is. So when you do this, you just did an arpeggio. Some people don't even know that all an arpeggio is the notes of a chord played separately. Root, third, and fifth, the triad. If I was teaching a lesson to one of my students that knew theory, that's probably how I'd be talking here. With scale intervals and scale degrees and triads and chord theory. But I want this lesson to be able to help anyone who's just wanting to be able to understand the technique and be able to sweep pick. So I'm not gonna talk about a lot of theory here. Now, the first sweep I ever encountered and that I ever learned was in Hangar 18 by Megadeth. Of course, Marty Friedman, playing the lead guitar there, and it was this sweep. So, or this sweep right here. And it's funny because that's a 4-note per string sweep, and Marty Friedman, because he's awesome, does some kind of unconventional things with sweep picking, and which is awesome because he's Marty Friedman, and Marty Friedman rules. If you don't know who Marty Friedman is, type him in. Don't even watch my lesson. Type Marty Friedman into the address bar and prepare to see the greatest thrash metal lead player of all time. But so that was the first sweep I ever encountered, and so I had already watched a video of someone showing the technique that that the right hand does, where it's actually sweeping is not picking the notes separately. It's you do pick them separately, but it's not like you sweep them. It's it's like a continual motion. You just kind of drag the pick along the strings, and that's the technique for the right hand. Now the left hand, of course, there's just different shapes that you're going to want to learn. You're going to want to learn your cannot talk today. Minor and major shapes. There's 3-string shapes. There's 5-string shapes. There's 6-string shapes. There's diminished, But I would just learn all that you can, and the first one I want to show you is this one. And what that is, it's a D minor sweep on the E, B, and G string. So we're just gonna get right into it. I want you, if you haven't played this before and you want to learn sweeping, start with this one. Start with an upstroke. And with your pinky, you're going to be fretting the 17th fret of the E string. Pull off to the 13th of the E string. Downstroke on the 15 of the B. Downstroke on the 14 of the G. Now, downstroke on the 15 of the B. Downstroke on the 13 of the E. And then start over. Those were all upstrokes. I sweeped that. Just a continual kind of rake. Just do that. That's the technique. You just go. That's all it is. Then there's 2 ups, to get back to the top. That's a sweep. And, without my right hand, it would be like that. Or sorry, without my left hand. So, and don't try to play it that fast when you first start. Do not. That's the worst thing you can do. You will develop so many bad habits because your fingers and your picking hand will not be synchronized. And that is what creates clean guitar playing, clean sounding, fast playing, is that your pick and your fingers work together to accomplish things right at the same time. Because that way, think about the thing that can be bad about sweeping. Let's say that your pick finishes the sweep before your fingers do. What's it going to sound like? There's going to be crappy open strings ringing out, and that's not what you want. You want the fingers to be synced up. Like that. So, one way to practice that with a metronome. Now, this is going to be really boring, but it helps so much. It just really helps you get those shapes in your muscle memory of your hand here, and really develop that technique in your right hand and be able to synchronize those hands. Now, that's probably boring. It is boring, but it's going to help you so much. And you can just play that at a speed where you're completely comfortable, it's sounding good, it's clean, and then you can work it up to however fast you want to go. And that's really the key to speed. The key to speed is not actually being fast. It's learning it really slow to where it becomes part of your muscle memory and you don't even have to think about it. And then speed is a byproduct of accuracy. So when you're being able to play something accurately, you'll be able to play it fast. And so whatever you do, when you learn this first shape I just showed you, don't try to play it super fast. I know you're gonna want to, and if you can and it's clean already and it's synced up, then good. But you're probably not gonna be able to, and that's fine. It takes months to develop a lot of speed with if you practice a lot, you can go from this speed in about a month if you practice a lot. And when for like the last 2 summers, I was practicing about maybe 6 to 7 hours a day. I don't really recommend that because you're gonna have no life, and I had no life, and I'm just barely getting one now, but practicing is definitely a must with these. And so one thing I want to talk about, some tips, because a lot of lessons out there on sweeping, they'll just show you what to do and go, all right, there you go. Don't be Yngwie. Don't teach like Yngwie people. Which Yngwie's my favorite guitar player, so no disrespect to him. But I want to talk about some things to do with your right hand here. Now, the pick, I don't think it, for fast picking, like alternate picking, I think it matters how thick your pick is. For sweep picking, I don't really think it matters that much. That's not a popular opinion, but I've played with super thin picks, and I can sweep just as well with a really bendy, pick than I can with my Jazz 3s or with my 3mm Dunlop stubby picks. But actually, though, having a pick with these pointed, kind of rounded edges, like a Jazz 3 pick, helps. I'm playing the Eric Johnson signature Jazz 3 pick. And you want to hold the pick so that there's not a whole lot of material sticking out. Don't hold the pick way at the top, because that way, it feels like to me you've got less control, and you've really got control when you choke down. And if you can see, there's not much material sticking out from under my thumb. So because there'll be less resistance. If there's less pick material that needs to go over it, there'll be less resistance, and you want less resistance so you can play faster. You need to be really relaxed with both your elbow, your arm, all your joints, your wrist. Everything needs to be really relaxed, and especially don't, grip the pick really hard. Keep it really soft. Just keep everything really relaxed. And the actual sweep motion, it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters where it comes from. It can be mostly done in your wrist, which is what I do. It can be done almost like moving your shoulder forward and back. It can be done with your elbow. I don't think that really matters. What does matter is that you're able to play clean, and then you need to mute. And muting, I use my right hand to mute. Some people kind of mute with their left hand, as they're playing, which I do that, but not when I'm sweep picking. When I'm sweep picking, my muting does not come from a string dampener. The only time I ever put one of these on my guitar is when I'm trying to play like a Chris Broderick, you know, crazy, something like that. That's the only time I use the string dampener, and I really don't like to use string dampeners. Only when I'm doing really complex tapping stuff. But so for sweep picking, don't use one. You don't need it. The people who use those are people who tried to play too fast in the beginning, and they're playing as sloppy, so they need one to cover up all their imperfections. And you don't want to be one of those people. People will respect you more if you can sweep without having one of these things, you know, without it, that sounds exactly the same, because I don't need one. It's just there if I want to do some crazy tapping. But, so, keep your grip loose, muting, I mute with, all this part of my hand, all this kind of meet the bridge of my hand right here, and just like when you're doing, heavy, palm muting for metal, it's almost the same idea. You just rest this part of your, palm over the strings here, and now here I've got it about straight up. If I want more, want it to be more muted, I'll roll my hand forward more. So usually when I'm sweeping, my hand is rolled forward, and actually, I even use this part of my thumb and right there to cover up the lower strings. And if you can see that, look at my hand there. I'm completely muting the strings. See, there's me pulling them. They're completely muted. That's what I do when I'm sweep picking. I just don't mute the string that I'm actually playing at that time. So when I'm playing up here, I'm muting other strings that I'm not playing by just doing that kind of palm muting technique. So I think that sweeping is an important technique, and start slow, and just really work on having it sound clean, having it you want to be accurate with it, and also learn as many shapes as you can, because major or minor, I can go across the neck. If someone says, D minor, if I'm playing over a riff in D minor, I would play, sweep picking shapes anywhere from, I would play, so, know your shapes, and I don't want to go over all those right now. I just want to go over the basic technique. But another common shape, actually one I do want to talk about that you're going to see is that one. And the reason why that's a challenge is because watch what happens here. Look at my ring finger here. I just had to play 2 notes consecutively by rolling it. So it's like a bar. Like that. And actually most people see it up here in A minor. So with that one, I recommend, of course, starting that out really slow and then just going. So I just want to talk about, there's different ways to play arpeggios, of course, the string skipping, and you can do tapped, or sorry, or there's different ways to play arpeggios, but I think sweep picking is one of the best ones. I only have a few seconds left in this video because I'm about to hit 15 minutes, so I hope this helps someone. Bye, and keep on